No, I started dropshipping around 5 years ago as a pimply faced teenager that had absolutely zero riz, and I thought flexing my $1,000 a day screenshot would get me some punani, and dang, was I wrong. Now, I did take my first dropshipping brand in 3 years to over 6 figures and selling the brand for over $50,000, along with scaling my own waist training brand from 0 to 80,000 in the first month of running ads. So cumulatively, I've done over $1 million in e-commerce sales, but the only reason why I'm telling you this is just to say that I have achieved a little bit of success and have some skin in the game to give you advice on what I think is the best way to learn this amazing industry. Because in my eyes, there are 4 major ways that you can do dropshipping. You can go through trial and error and go solo. You can learn from social media. You can go through courses, or you can get a mentor to shortcut the entire process for you. Now, these all have their own pros and cons, but before you start dropshipping in general, there are some baseline things that you need to have. And I would say the first thing is you need to have cash flow, because the reality is no matter what option you choose, you will lose thousands of dollars when you first start this game. There will be a learning process where it will take you months to learn what you need to know, and really it is few and far between with people that get immediate success on their first product try. I mean, that is just purely luck, and for you, although you might have some main character energy, I would say definitely weather your expectations. So right now, you should have a job, something that is bringing in cash that you can reinvest into learning and testing products that, hey, it might not work out, but every time you test something, you will learn something about where you need to improve. So I would say have a job or have a large budget that you have saved up, whether it's $5 grand, 10 grand. I would recommend the bare minimum be $3,000. But it's obviously better if you have cash flow coming in, because it hurts to see when you start with a budget of $3 grand and then it suddenly starts getting lower and lower and lower, and you're like, oh my God, is this even worth it? Now, the next thing you're gonna need is an insane work ethic. You have to be obsessed with dropshipping if you wanna see any success at all. And really, that just applies to any business model. Because if you only give it 30 minutes a day and you're following the 4-hour work week, then yeah, you're not gonna get any success. This is a business, and there are millions of people competing with you on the same products that have 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day to grind it out and are genuinely obsessed. They are not focused on the money. And although the money might be the reason why you're getting into this, that's perfectly fine. You can't focus on that in the beginning. You have to have some other goals that are more tangible, like learning a skill, which will give you the serotonin to keep on going. If you genuinely don't get excited after you built a website or created ads, then there's a good chance you're not going to be in it for the long term. If you're too focused on the money, you're going to give up after a month. Now, real quick ad break. If you guys can just leave a like and subscribe down below so that YouTube gods know I'm providing some value, I would really appreciate it. And there's going to be a lot of people that start dropshipping in 2023 because they've been red pilled. They've been watching Andrew Tate. They want to be an entrepreneur. Hashtag grind set so they can buy their own Bugatti. And after a week of completely failing and losing all their money, they are going to give up. So I would say if you are getting into this, make sure you are obsessed. I know when I was first getting into this game, when I found out about dropshipping and all these people that were my age, 16, 17 years old, making 20 grand a month, and these people weren't smarter than me, they weren't harder working than me, but they were making so much more money because they had found something and they just took the action of putting in the work every single day to get the specific result they wanted. And when I saw that, it made me obsessed. I was working 8 hours every single day, finding products, building my website, and trying to create ads that I really thought were amazing. And I enjoyed it. When I was in school, the only thing I was thinking about was dropshipping, writing down notes, writing down ad ideas. I wrote down my to-dos of what I need to do after school for my dropshipping store to make money, because I was just so enthralled with, oh my God, I can actually make money just by setting up this online business that nobody sees. Nobody sees my products, but I can essentially print money out of thin air, which to me was just an amazing concept. It made me incredibly enthused to get into it. So I would say if this is your first week or your first month of doing dropshipping, do not buy a course or a mentorship. Do not invest money yet, because you still don't even know if you're fully committed to this. I would say yes, go through the trial and error of going solo and trying to do it on your own for that first month at least, so that you can learn, all right, do I need a mentor, or at least find out where my weaknesses are, and just to see if you can go past those initial roadblocks. Because if you can push through the pain of losing money, of having to dedicate so much time to something and not seeing any return for months on end, then you will eventually become someone that can get success. But so many people will make that mistake of going hard on dropshipping for a week, of investing into a mentor, and then after paying $1,000, they feel like they've been accomplished, that they are ready to go, and then a week later, they are completely out of it. So just don't be the dummy that after New Year's invests thousands of dollars into courses and mentorships, and then after a week doesn't even use any of the information at all, because it happens so often. So really ask yourself, am I in the right mental space to dedicate the time, energy, and be obsessed with this business model model to actually see success and push through the hard times. Because the reality is you can buy all of the courses and mentorships in the entire world, Richie Rich, but the thing that will actually make you successful is having a great work ethic and taking and applying the things that you learn into your business every single day. Because a mentor can tell you what to do, a course can tell you what to do, but they can't do the work for you. But now let's get into the real problem that you have right now. If you're someone that has been dropshipping and you haven't gotten any results, the reality is you just don't have the skills yet to actually make money. There is some sort of gap in your execution, and you might have the same strategies as someone who has made $1 million, $5 million, but if you don't execute at their level, you're not gonna make any money. And just to illustrate this, I could give 100 movie actors the same exact script and lines, but the person that will get the part is the one who executed it the best. Yet people are still so obsessed over the latest strategy, media buying, black hat, all that stuff. All those things are crutches. It's just shiny object syndrome, but people fall for it all the time and try to use that instead of focusing on what really matters, which is developing the fundamentals of great ad creatives, of great websites, and picking the right products with the right margin and the right wow factor to a specific audience.
Because it doesn't matter what pixel manipulation strategy and matrix hacking we do to get a 2-cent CPM
if your website looks like it was built before the dot-com bubble crash, or if your ads were completely ripped because you have absolutely no creative bone in your body to make your own ads, even to repurpose your own ads. And I get that everyone starts from somewhere, and you shouldn't be ashamed to build a bad website or a bad ad. In fact, this was my first website. This was Umro Sports, the brand I sold for over $50,000, and the website, it looks terrible. It really does. But when I first built this, my ego was so tied to it. I put so much work because I literally added hundreds of products because I thought that was what makes a store legitimate, having so many products that no one will ever check out. I had my friends write their own quotes about my store, how they loved it. And I mean, this is nothing crazy. And I also want to show you my first ever ad was this right here. I mean, I didn't know how to do Photoshop. I thought this was the greatest ad ever. Was 65, now 45. I don't know who wouldn't want to buy these crappy Chinese shoes with the terrible Photoshop. I mean, you can literally see the green cut out. I mean, I didn't even know what I was doing. But when I made this ad, I still paid pages to post this, and I thought I was going to print thousands of dollars. And that's kind of the reality of when you go solo in the beginning. And I think it's important to go through this phase of, yeah, trying out things, and it's going to be crappy. But then once you realize, all right, I got some things that are decent, that's when you invest into your first course and mentorship. Because now that I look back on this, I realize it was terrible. But at the time, I had no gauge for what was good, for what was bad. And that's kind of the problem when you are going solo. No one is there to correct you on what you're doing right or wrong. But when I was dropshipping initially, I really didn't have much money for courses or mentorship. So I said, all the money that I saved up from working as a cashier, I am going to put into my dropshipping stores. So for about 6 months, I tested 20 different dropshipping products. They were all jewelry related, accessory related to sports athletes, because I only knew that market because I was an athlete. And pretty much every time I would make the ads, I would create the product page, write the description, and I would get so excited. I was doing influencer pages as well. And every time I would send the creative over, I mean, I had so much adrenaline. I would be in school. I was waiting for that post to go up, and I was just hoping that by the time it was lunch, I would see some sales on my phone. It would just get me the adrenaline I needed. And then it was crickets. I would get some visitors, lots of add to carts, but no one would buy from my store because it was crappy. The images were terrible. The offers were terrible, but I just didn't know that. So for 6 months, I tested a bunch of different products and I lost over $3,000, and it pained me. It absolutely hurt. Over 20 plus products. And a lot of people, when they are dropshipping initially, they are just too slow. And I think that was one of the things that helped me a lot is I was efficient. I tested 3 to 4 products every single month. It was one a week, but some people, they test one product a month and they expect results, which is just ridiculous. It should never take longer than a week to test a product. So you actually might be someone who's really good at building websites and ads, and you might have the skills ready to actually get results, but yeah, maybe you're just not testing products efficiently enough. So by the time you do test a product, oh, it's already saturated. Someone else already made the millions of dollars that you would have made if you were just more efficient with your testing. And that does happen too. But in most cases, it's usually you just don't have the skills yet. So after those first 6 months, what I decided to personally do is I pirated some courses. I pirated Gabriel St. Germain's course. I believe there was one from Ecom King or King Ecom, someone, it was Chris Waller, I believe is his name. And unfortunately he passed away, you know, RIP. But he taught me a lot. He really did, about Facebook ads. And when I do look back at those courses, they taught me the fundamentals. And I think that's the most important thing when you're initially getting into dropshipping. You have to learn the fundamentals of website building, of ads, picking products, social media, support, building your own team. There's a lot of different areas you need to learn. And that's why I don't recommend learning from social media when you're starting out, because social media, sure, there's good information out there, but there's a lot of bad too. And it's not structured, and it will give you some good tips and things that are useful when you are already getting with the fundamentals and you have those down. But if you're trying to initially get to the point where you have a $100 a day store, it is about the fundamentals, and you're mainly going to learn that through a course or mentor that teaches you those in a structured manner. And I really do believe if you're on a budget, yes, pirating courses is a great way of doing things. Is it ethical? No, but there's a lot of websites like mmocourse.org where you can get great dropshipping courses that are a fraction of the cost. They might cost hundreds of dollars usually, but then you can buy them for $20. I mean, Bia has this course, $24. Honestly, you couldn't pay me to go through that course with how outdated it is. And that's kind of the one downside, I would say, of going the course route, and especially pirating old courses, is the information. It can teach you the fundamentals, but also it can be a little dated. So if you're trying to make solely money off of them, it's not the best idea, because you have to pick which course is the right one for you. So I would say if you want to actually go through a course to develop the fundamentals and also make money, then you need to buy a course that is more recent, that is being updated every single week, every single month with new strategies and things that the owner of that course is learning. So when you do pirate a course, the reality is it's not going to be updated. It's just going to be whatever the files were at that time that the person had the course for. So if you want the more up-to-date things, then yes, I would recommend investing a couple $100 into a program of someone that you know is trustworthy, that you vibe with, that you believe has actually gotten results and is also going to update it frequently. And I would say another thing when you're looking for a course is don't tie the value of the course to the amount of videos inside of it, because a lot of people will say, well, if I'm going to pay $300, there needs to be 100 plus videos. But I would say if I want to learn how to do something, I'd rather learn how to do dropshipping or whatever in 10 minutes compared to 100 hours. So if you're trying to pick between a course, I would say, what is the one that can condense the information in the shortest and most concise version? Because that's where the value really is, trying to make it condensed down so you can rewatch those videos and keep on learning, because you're going to get overwhelmed if a course has 100 plus videos. And I've done this from my own experience. My first course was over 150 videos, and I was so proud and so accomplished. But then I realized most of my students never even got past half of the course. And that's another reality with your mindset before you invest any of your money into a mentorship or course. Tony Robbins said this best, and this man has made a living off of selling information. Literally, he bought a soccer team. I mean, he prints money out of thin air. But he says people that will invest thousands of dollars into his course, out of all those people, 70% of them will not even watch the first video. It's absolutely insane, but this is the man who's made a living off of courses. So there will just be some weird psychological effect where people, after they pay money for a course, they're like, well, awesome, let me take a break. That's all I needed to do. I mean, I've already taken the first step, and they literally will not go through the program. And I've noticed this too. People will pay me thousands to join my program, and they won't go through the first video. I don't know if it's laziness. I mean, it definitely is, but I really do believe that's just checking your mindset and understanding. Are you for real? Are you going to go hard at this, or is this just a fad? So I'd say my ideal checklist for a course I would invest money into is something that will always be updated with new information, that will also enable me to join a community where I can talk to other entrepreneurs and network and ask questions to learn from people that are a step ahead of me, and that the information is coming from a reliable source that is actually getting results today. Because there's a lot of gurus out there that got results in dropshipping or whatever industry 3-4 years ago, but then when it comes to today, they got absolutely nothing. They might fake screenshots. So definitely try to do the most research you can. And when you're on a sales call for a course, or if you're just buying it, try to see if you can ask the person, hey, do you have any relevant results that you can show me today? And if you're wondering if I offer a course, I actually haven't for a while, but I will be dropping one for 2023.
And I can already hear the comments saying, oh, he's just selling out. He's just trying to make money off of us. And of course, he has a course in his link in bio. That's the only way he makes any money.
And you know what? You can have your own opinions. I know I already have my own agency that does over 100 grand a month. And I really wanted to have a great, concise program that I just never had when I started out. And this course will teach you exactly how I find winning products using tools like PP ads and AdSpy, which I will give you free links to. So that's hundreds of dollars that you save every single month just off joining the program, along with how I build my websites, which you will get a $3 for 3 months at Shopify to teach you exactly how to build high converting stores just like this one right here. And I'll go more into depth about the website aspect. And you also get access to my sourcing agents that I've used to scale my own 6-figure brands, along with how I create my custom ads, which as someone who runs an ad agency is incredibly valuable. But the best part is that even though this program costs $273, which I don't think is a whole lot of money considering the resources you'll you will get if you actually do get results. If you make more than the price you paid in one day, if you make $274 a day with your store, I will give you your money back and give you $100 for getting results. I genuinely want people to go through this program and get results, because if you do, then hey, I get to post about you and more people get to learn through this program that I really am enthused about. And I will continually update that. You will also get a course and community where you can talk to me, get questions answered, so that you can get results and we can do e-commerce the right way. And if you go through the program and don't like it whatsoever, even though it's structured exactly A to Z on how to go from 0 to 1 grand a day, we do have a 14-day no questions money back guarantee. So again, I'm giving you so many ways to get your money back. I probably won't even make much money from this course, if I'm being honest, because I'm hoping that you get your money back from actually being successful from using this course. But you need to be smart and realize, am I in the right mental space and do I have the right work ethic to get results? Now for me, after going through those initial courses, I did develop my skills and was able to build better websites and create better ads, but I still didn't actually get much results. So at that point, I lost about another $3,000 and I was left at a crossroads of, should I keep trying to make this work? So I actually went back to my job at Publix as a cashier and I saved up a couple grand to eventually invest into my first mentor. And this guy's name, I believe, was Jay Perry. He was a guy on Instagram that was flexing all the nice lifestyle. He lived in Bali, had some supercars, and I was like, all right, this guy's balling out. He clearly knows stuff about dropshipping. And when I paid him about $300 a month to be my mentor, he pretty much ghosted me about a week later. He was super excited to have me on. He joined the sales call, and you'll notice it a lot with mentors. Like, they will push hard to make that sale, and then as soon as you join, the experience sucks. And it sucks because there are a lot of bad actors in this space. I would say that's the majority of people. Dropshipping kind of attracts, I would say, the wrong type of entrepreneur that wants to get rich quick, but there are great people out there. So when you're trying to find your first mentor, I would say first off, see if they actually have the time to dedicate to you and keep you accountable. So when you're on a sales call, I would ask that literally, what are the businesses that this mentor has? Where is their time going? And how much time can they realistically dedicate to you? Because there will be so many people where you will join the program and you won't hear anything from them. They won't message you. They might do some group calls and that's the structure, but you just go through a course, and if you don't actively try to message them, then they won't actually message you. And I think that's the wrong way of approaching things. But the next thing I would look for in a mentor is, do they have verifiable results that are recent? Because anyone can get results 3-4 years ago. I mean, things were always going to be easier in the past. So do they actually have results right now? Are they managing stores? Do they have an agency where they manage brands? I know for me personally, I manage over 100 different dropshipping stores in my automation agency, and we also work with e-commerce brands. So I get the luxury of seeing all these different ad accounts and Shopify stores and getting to split test so many different things to see what is working right now. And there will be other mentors that had one winning store 3 years ago, and that's what they're going to use to try to teach you. And I'd say the final thing I would look for in a mentor is, do they have information already out there online for free that you have used in the past that has gotten you results? Because there are a lot of people that have gotten results in e-commerce or whatever industry you want to learn, but when it comes to teaching, they will suck, especially if they have no YouTube videos, no social media. If their whole social media is just posting and flexing, yeah, they're probably not going to be the best teacher. But if they have a YouTube channel where they're giving strategies and you're like, okay, this is actually some good stuff, maybe I want to learn what the paid stuff is like, I would say that's always going to be the smarter option, because there's so many people that can do. And yeah, they can't teach worth a damn, because in a lot of cases, they don't even understand their own strategies at a super deep level. They might have a strategy that's worked incredibly well that has generated them $5 million. And then when you try it and it doesn't work for you, they couldn't even tell you why it didn't work, because it's literally always worked for them. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. So just to recap with that, make sure they have the time to dedicate to you. They should be someone that you message ideally every single day and maybe have a weekly call with. I know my best mentors, Noah Brewer was one of my first mentors. I did 2 weekly calls with him every single week. We would talk occasionally throughout the week about my progress in my store, of what was going on with my ads. And he was incredibly helpful. And I could tell that he genuinely did care and he didn't treat me like a number. Now I would say my final thing when you are picking a mentor is, are they the person that takes the sales call with you? Now, it's not the worst thing in the world they have a team, because maybe they're just spending most of their time working with the current students. So when you do join, you'll get a chance to work with them, obviously, and have their time invested into you. But I think it's also pretty cool if that person is the one taking the call, because that way they can learn about you and see, hey, if I actually want to work with you. And I know for my own mentorship, if you were wondering, I do have one. I do take my own sales calls as of right now, so that I can see, all right, what is your situation? Do I genuinely want to work with you? Do I want to put put my time and invest it into you, and I do believe you can get success, because there should be some sort of vetting process. I know I reject a lot of people that I don't think will get results, because I'm literally like, you're just going to waste thousands of dollars. But with most sales calls for mentorships, they will push you hard about how you can get results instantly. They will get you from $0 to $1,000 a day, and they set incredibly high expectations so that when you join, you feel hyped, but then you don't actually get any of those results. So again, I would definitely keep that in mind. How are they pitching you? How is the expectations? Are they actually asking you questions about your time, your work ethic, and seeing if you actually have the potential to get results? Because if they aren't genuinely interested in you on that call, then that is a bit of a red flag in my eyes. So Noah Brewer actually was my second mentor after this guy Jay totally just blocked me and honestly left a pretty sour taste in my mouth. And when I did work with Noah, he had his own agency at the time where he was managing a lot of different brands. And because of that, he got to show me what the actual quality of your website and ads need to be at to get results. So I realized, okay, crap, this store right here, I mean, this is August 31st, 2018, it's not going to be good enough. My product pages weren't good enough. My ads weren't nearly good enough. So I had to step up my game. And thanks to him showing that and opening my eyes to where I can be and the possibilities of how good my ads and product pages could be, that's when I was able to make breakthroughs and build websites like this, where we have custom images, professional images, great offers, urgency. Every single section here is here for a reason, social proof. And then again, when you buy clothing online, what's the major objection people always will have? Does it fit me properly? So you've got to have custom size guides. You've got to have some experience with Photoshop to be able to make graphics that make you stand out compared to the millions of other people selling that same exact product. And you got to understand branding and copywriting and what actually makes people buy. And again, I have plenty of videos on all these different topics, but a lot of times it takes learning from a mentor and then looking at your store, roasting the absolute crap out of you, you getting your ego hurt, and then realizing, okay, they're doing this for a reason, because they know this is what it takes. And it's gonna suck. You're gonna get butthurt because you spent so many hours on this, but then you realize, okay, with my reviews, yeah, I just put 10 random reviews from AliExpress, and now I realize I gotta have great images and great detailed reviews and have urgency and have a great offer and always be split testing. There's so many levels to this e-commerce game. Even me, I probably only learned about 5% of what you need to know in e-commerce. There's so much out there. So you gotta be always trying to level up and learning from people that are a step ahead of you. And now I've gotten to the point where I can also test products with custom ads that I will put up right here. But I would have never gotten any results if I worked with Noah and I didn't put in the work every single day, because he told me what I needed to do, and that's what a good mentor will do. But they aren't going to handhold you. They aren't going to be the one that does the work for you. So you really have to ask yourself, before you invest $1,000, $1,500 a month into a mentor, it's going to be expensive, because again, it's not worth their time if you only pay them a couple $100s a month. So I would say, again, beware of scams out there, because there are a lot, but you will lose also thousands in mentors, and you might call them a scam when you don't put the work that they are telling you to do. So again, ask yourself, am I in the right mindset? Do I have the right work ethic? Because it is a really big investment. And then I would say the final way that you can learn dropshipping is through social media. And actually, I would say this is how I primarily learn new things about e-commerce. I am always on Twitter. I think that's the best platform to learn about e-commerce. And you can follow the same people I follow. Like for CRO and websites, I follow Niels Ander. I follow splittesting.com. There are so many incredibly insane people that are literally running their own agencies for websites and all the split tests. And they will post all the things that are working, and it is absolute gold. And you can follow a lot of people that own massive 8 and 9 figure e-commerce brands, and you get to see their thought process. Like Sean Frank, who runs Ridge Wallet, that does over 100 million a year. That guy has incredibly deep thoughts about e-commerce and sales cycles and how to scale brands that are way past anything that I could ever think of. And getting a chance to learn from them every single day for free, it's incredibly insightful. But I would say with social media, the one downside is if you don't have the fundamentals down, if you don't know how to build websites, create ads, all that stuff, then this information is pointless. It's too far ahead for you. So you need to have your fundamentals down, which is why I would recommend getting a course or a mentor to get those. But when you do have those down, yes, going onto Discord, going onto Instagram, and trying to just pull out golden nuggets is great. And I would say that's the only thing social media is great for. Getting some golden nuggets, new strategies that you can learn, that you can test for your brands. But the also downside is that with social media, there's a lot of people that don't have great experience. It's kind of hard to vet who actually is trustworthy versus who isn't. And obviously, it's just not structured like with a course or mentorship that will teach you A to Z. All right, here's step 1, here's step 2, and here's step 3 to get results. Social media, it's all over the place. Even with YouTube, for instance, if you try to learn just based off YouTube, which I know a lot of people will say, yeah, don't buy courses because all the information is out there online for free. And that is true. But when you're learning something for the first first time, you don't know what you don't know. How can you possibly do research on YouTube for dropshipping if you don't even know how to build a website or what's important when you're building a website? There's so many nuances and things that will be taught to you in a course that gives you all the boring nitty-gritties. But with YouTube, people are trying to get views. They want to make topics about the most interesting parts of the business, but there's little nitty-gritty things like policies, how to do customer support that no one will talk about, and you do need to know, but you won't realize how important that is or that you even need to have that if you try to do research on your own. So in conclusion, I believe the best way to learn about dropshipping, it really does depend on your budget and your work ethic. But if you are someone who is dedicated, and let's say you have over $5,000, I would recommend getting a mentor. They will shortcut the exact process for you. They will tell you exactly where you're going right and going wrong with your business, and getting that feedback is by far so essential, and that is what helped me grow. And every time I talked to a successful guy in the space, always they said I had great mentors along the way that were able to give me honest feedback and just teach me along the way of what I needed to know to get to their level. But if you're someone that has less than $5,000, go the course route, develop your skills, try to get a little bit of success, and then eventually invest into a mentor that can give you that feedback.